So the webinar today is in regard to the EIC Accelerator, and more specifically, it's going to be a presentation of this funding program focused on the area of transport, logistics, and mobility. And as you may have noticed already, this is a webinar that's been organized in the framework of the entrance project. So just to explain to you today, the agenda will be the following. I will just give you a very short introduction of the entrance project. I'm Jeanette Poulter, from P&O Consultants. I'm the coordinator of the entrance project, and I will be very quick, and then I'll be passing on the word to Ilica Bejska from the EIC, who will give an introduction of the EIC Accelerator program, including also some examples of some previous projects that have been funded in the transport, logistics, and mobility sector. And she will also be giving some information about the EIC business coaching services. And after that, we will pass on the word to Piedad Rivas, who will give some information and tricks and advice on how to be applying to this funding program. And then we will have an introduction also from Ignacio Hernandez, who will be describing the national support that is also offered for the EIC Accelerator program. And finally, I will just very quickly round it up and give a very brief introduction and indication on how you can sign up to the entrance online platform. So in regard to entrance, and give a very brief introduction and indication on how you can sign up to the entrance online platform. So in regard to entrance is a European project that has been funded under the Horizon 2020 program. It's a project that focuses on boosting the uptake of innovative transport and mobility solution, all with the intention of de-risking their uptake and reducing the European CO2 emissions and pollutants that are currently being caused by the transport and mobility sector. And we're doing this by providing a European matchmaking platform that facilitates the matchmaking between the providers of the innovative first-of-a-kind technologies, products, and services, with the buyers and also with finance opportunities. So we do this by identifying the common interest amongst specific buyers in innovation areas and solutions. And thereafter, we're doing market overview of first of a kind, zero emission transport and mobility solutions for the specific interest of the buyers. We also do exchange of best practices and deployment of such innovative solutions and provide information on national and European tenders and legislation. And one of the aspects that is also aligned with what we're doing today, we do training and brokerage activities and provide access to public and private innovation, finance, and opportunity by supporting both solution providers and buyers in terms of giving that advice on what type of funding opportunities they can access. And finally, we also facilitate purchase aggregation of innovative transport mobility solutions in order to de-risk the uptake. So this is just a very brief introduction, and I want to pass on the word specifically to Ilica.
Hello. My name is Ilica Bejska, and I work for the European Innovation Council for the Accelerator, EIC Accelerator. I don't quite see you, so it is a bit strange. So I see we are about 20 people. We assume that we know a little bit about the Accelerator. So I will make a quick presentation. It is about 25 slides. I will try now to upload them, and I'll try to go quickly through them. So afterwards, if you have questions, we can discuss. Let's see what you see now. Okay, do you see my presentation now?
Yes, we see your screen, thank you.
Okay, so yeah, but the slides are not moving. Let me try. No, not with this one. No. Just a second to see how to move. It's not with the buttons, so maybe I go to the presentation itself. Okay. Thank you, Peter. Okay. So just a few words, because it is a bit confusing where and who the EIC Accelerator is. So basically, we have the European Commission with the different directorates, and then the European Innovation Council was established by the European Commission. So the European Commission provides the policy, and then we have the executive agencies which execute the policy. So in this case, this is the EISMEA. So this is the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency. So this is the agency that actually deals with the EIC Accelerator. So in the EIC, European Innovation Council, there are several programs. So the Accelerator is the one that is closest to the market. So if it is a bit confusing, you can ask us some questions afterwards. So what is the EIC Accelerator? So we are looking for startups and SMEs which are seeking to scale up high impact innovations with the potential to create new markets. The innovations building on scientific discovery or technological breakthrough, or the so-called deep tech, and also innovations where significant funding is needed over a long time frame, and innovations that are too risky for private investors alone. So these are the projects or the companies that we are looking to fund. So what we provide is blended finance, which is a combination of a grant and equity. We will go through this in details afterwards, or only grant first is the other option. We will go through this. So we have a grant component and an investment component, or just a grant component. So the grant component is maximum €2.5 million, where the eligible costs are reimbursed up to a maximum of 70%. The innovation activities which we support should be completed normally within 24 months. There are also longer projects depending on the topic. For example, the health projects or some other ones are longer. And then we say that small mid-caps are not eligible for grant, but can apply for the investment component only. About the investment component, it is between €500,000 and €15 million, usually in the form of direct equity or quasi-equity. The minority ownership that we are aiming at, so maximum 25% of the voting shares of the company. So here a bit more about the different options. So one is grant and investment. So this is for the companies where they need support for development. So we are talking about technological readiness level 5, 6, up to 8. And then the deployment and scale up is with TRL 9. So this would be the grant and investment. You could have grant only if you can prove that you have sufficient financial means for TRL 9. Grant first is if your innovation still requires significant work to validate and demonstrate in relevant environments to assess its commercial potential. And you can also go for the fourth option, which is investment only, if you're looking to fill the funding gap for rapid scale up of your high risk innovation and you don't need a grant. So depending on the needs of the company, you can choose what funding would be best for you. So we have EIC Accelerator Open and EIC Accelerator Challenges. So in the Open, my colleague Piedad afterwards might talk a bit more about this, but all sorts of topics could be covered, while in the EIC Accelerator Challenges, We have the EIC Accelerator challenges technologies for open strategic autonomy, or the technologies for Fit for 55, so which is the green ones. And you see the budget for this. The evaluation steps will be covered in detail by my colleague Piedad, so I will just skip them here. These are the cutoffs that we have, as the one in the 23rd of March was just finalized. We had the interviews, so this is already done. Then 15th of June, which is very close, in a week time, is the next one, and October 5th. So this will be for this year. You can find all this information on our website anyhow. About the equity funding, very briefly, that the EIC invests at early stage, which is for seed and startup, scale up. So from half to 15 million, as we said. So it is for market deployment and scale up. I'm just trying to pick up the more important stuff. And we're looking for minority ownership, as we said. Today, what is the EIC fund? This is a venture capital fund. This is a flexible instrument with possibility for multiple compartments. And the European Commission is the shareholder. It was established, the fund was established in 2020 under the direct management of the European Commission. And our investment advisor is the European Investment Bank. So just very quickly, the EIC fund, the Commission needs to adapt the structure and the management to the Horizon Europe regulation, because before we had Horizon 2020, we had a pilot, so we are looking at the lessons from the pilot. And at the moment, we are in a transition phase that has been agreed with the member states. You've probably heard sometimes we have certain delays, but as a whole, we now are picking up speed and moving faster. It is important to mention again that the EIB will continue in the future to be our investment advisor, and they are performing the due diligence and they prepare the investment proposal. Then after 2022, the EIC may work with other investment partners in addition to the EIC fund. But EISMEA, so this is the agency that I mentioned, the European Investment Council and SME Executive Agency, will continue to conduct the evaluation and selection of the proposals, to implement the grant component, to perform the technological due diligence, to ensure the coordination between the grant and the equity component, the liaising with the investment partners, and to ensure single award decision and to manage the platform. The European Investment Bank performs an exhaustive due diligence and prepares the investment proposal. So they start with the risk assessment, compliance, and know your customer. They do the product and technology assessment, the market and competition, commercialization strategy, business plan, and everything else. So they're our partner for this. This I'll skip up. So very briefly also, we have a co-investment support. So this is our EIC co-investor portal, which aims at facilitating investor introductions. So we have about 800 investors and 140 companies on it at the moment. A few words about the business coaching which we provide. So the beneficiaries can use 12 days of business coaching. We recommend that you select your business coaches, or you select a few business coaches. The optimum is 2, but you can also select more if you need more. So you have the platform, There you see the coach's background. You can select the coach, check their availability, and then you can, of course, speak to them and see if they match your needs. And this is about the business coaches. When you sign your contract, just don't sign for all your 12 days. Maybe you can just have a few days with one business coach, and then you see if it is a good match or not. And then you can sign a contract with another business coach if this is the case. In general, our companies are very happy with the business coaches. They're all very experienced. And here there was actually just one of our beneficiaries was saying that a certain coach was really understood their business, and she asked hard questions and made suggestions that provoked our thoughts, which hugely improved our strategy. So, okay, we are very happy with our coaching services. My colleague will talk about this in detail. This is just for you to know where you can find the information. So Jeanette can send you afterwards the presentation on how to apply. So this is something very interesting. If you haven't opened yet our EIC Data Hub, this is the link to it. It opens a bit slowly, but then you can see all the projects that have been funded by the European Innovation Council in the different countries, the different locations. You can look at the projects and find out about them. It is public information. So if you're interested about the projects in your own country or any other, you can use the database hub. And I just selected for you 2-3 projects only to show you one of our more interesting transport, mobility and logistics projects. So this one is called Sea Bubbles. This is a French company called Sea Bubble. It is a very successful project. It was featured also in Netflix. You can read a lot about it everywhere on the internet. Basically, this is a urban water transport. It is a vehicle which is as big as a car, and it is electric. So the idea is to use it as urban transport where we have this possibility. The grant amount is 2 million euro, and the project just ended now at the end of 2021. Another interesting project is Casio, which is, it also happens to be a French one, but it is a hybrid electric airplane. This one got a grant of 2 million. It also just finished and is finishing this year at the end of this year. But also there is an investment component of 11 million. So this is a blended finance project. And the last one I selected, as we have 2 French, I am Bulgarian, so I wanted to show a very good Bulgarian project, which is on logistics. It is a platform, augmented intelligence for logistics. So it is an artificial intelligence platform. They got a grant of 1.7 million euro in 2019, but now in the last call of March 2022, when we had the interviews now in May, they also got, they applied only for the investment component, and they got around 4 million euro of an investment. But okay, it hasn't started yet, so they have been approved. And I think that is it. So, Jeanette, I don't know, shall we go for questions now, or maybe later when Piedad finishes her part?
I think maybe we can do it once Piedad finishes her part. So just leaving the word now to Piedad Rivas, who will be explaining the tricks and advices on how to apply for this funding program.
Okay, thank you, Jeanette. Let me share my presentation. Hold on, if I manage to do that. Share. Okay, tack, share, and then here we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it.
I'm going to put it in presenting mode. Can you see it in presenting mode?
Yes, we can. Yes, it's we can see the next slide as well for some reason. Yes.
Okay, if you don't mind, I keep it because this allow me to see what's coming next. If you don't mind, is it disturbing for everybody? It's okay, I think so.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot, Janet, and thanks a lot, Elitza, for the for giving the framework. My name is Piedad Rivas. I'm also working at the European Innovation Council, and we with Elisa we work together for the selection and implementation of one of the let's say key actions, which is the EIC, the European Innovation Council Accelerator. Just to announce that yesterday we published the results of the last election, the first year round, and we announced that there were 74 European high potential startups financed. They receive in total an amount of 382 million of funding, combined grant and investment equity component. And just to give you an idea, the companies were selected from over more than 1,000 startups and SMEs. This is to give you an idea of how competitive the process is. And so all of these companies, more than, actually there were almost 1,200, they submitted their application on the 23rd of March for the cutoff, and 200 out of these 266 they passed the interview, the pitching phase in front of a jury, often experienced investors and entrepreneurs and experts. So these selected companies, I repeat, 74 out of 266. Will each receive grant and equity component, and depending on their needs, as Elisa was mentioning, they will receive up to 17.5 million. Also, I need to say, before entering into more details, that companies that they were interviewed, these 266 minus the 74 who received funding, the others, they can have access to what we call the Seal of Excellence. The Seal of Excellence is like having a prize or a privilege to go to national funding and other schemes and go directly and have additional funding. So this is why it is very important for you to reach that goal. So at least to go to the interviews, to the pitching phase in front of investors and entrepreneurs. So this is as an introduction of what happened this year. I'm going to just walk you through the evaluation process, the submission stage and evaluation process. It is a little bit complex and complicated, but again, I repeat myself, what is important is that if you're intending to take that road, that you, first of all, you identify in your country. In here we are by the list of applicants. Most of you are Spaniards, so from Spain. So I will invite you to get in contact with your national contact point. I'll send in the slides. We will see the link afterwards, and get business support from them, get advice from them. And similarly to the national contact point, we have as well the Enterprise Europe Network, which is a network across Europe as well. And most of the time, the national contact point and EEN, the Enterprise Europe Network, are the same. Just to let you know that in every region there are at least minimum one contact point, and for sure, even in your provinces, in your department, you will have a contact point either at your university, research center, or in your region in the innovation in universities department. Okay, so just now focusing on the submission phase. In here, I wanted to show you the steps that that this selection it takes, because it's not really straightforward that you send your application and you get a funding. No, you have to go through many different steps and get one by one. So in here, first of all, if you want to apply for the European Innovation Council Accelerator funding, first of all, you have to, as Elitza was mentioning, you have to have a disruptive deep tech idea with potential to scale up in the market. It has to be really innovative. It has to be a discovery, and you have to prove really that it's not at the moment in the market, and then you're really breaking is a breaking through discovery. So what we look at in here is really excellence and impact in European markets and internationally. Also, you have to tell us your story. You will be asked to you will be invited to submit a short application, which will be assessed by remote evaluators. So that will be the first step. Once you have passed this first step, you will be invited to prepare through the artificial intelligence tool and coaching tool to submit your full proposal. That will be your second step. Is your business plan, and you could have also the possibility there to have access as well to the coaches that Elitza was mentioning. Not only when you get a funding and a grant agreement, but also at the submission stage, at the preparatory stage. If you pass the first step of short application, you can have three days coaching to prepare your business plan and your full proposal, which will be assessed also by remote evaluators. If this full proposal assessed by remote evaluators, they get a go, so meaning go ahead in your routine, you will be invited to pitch your case in front of what we call the EIC, the European Innovation Council jury members, which is formed by investor, venture capitalists, and also entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs, who will decide on how innovative your case is and if your case deserves a funding. And it will be depending upon what you have asked, either grant first, grant only, grant first, or grant and investment component. And now going to the fifth, in case that you have requested the investment component, you will enter, as Elitza was mentioning to you, into the due diligence process and compliance check. And at the end of the process, of course, you will sign a grant agreement, first a grant with us and a grant investment agreement. So this is the evaluation step by step, this evaluation process in a nutshell and a step by step. In here, it is the same, similar to the other slide, but it gets the process as, first of all, the reception and allocation of proposals to expert. This will be the evaluation process of a single project. So you will submit your short application. It will be allocated to external experts who will undertake a remote screening on this short application. If you receive a go, you move forward to developing the full application, and then you will go to the remote application of this full application, And if you receive a go, you will go to the face-to-face interviews. And this is what I was saying. The aim for you, the companies that you're here, is to reach that stage and to pitch in front of a jury. And of course, if you get a go, you will get a contract with us. So this is the evaluation of a single project. And now I will skip that very quickly. Elitza presented to you. This is the work program for this year. There are 3 cutoff deadlines. The first one, I've mentioned to you the results, in which it was the deadline. It was the 23rd of March, and there have been 74 companies selected. The next one will be next week, the 15th of June, and the interviews week will be in September, these dates. And the next cutoff will be in October, the 5th of October, and the interviews are planned by these dates in November and early December. So practically for you, if you're intending to apply, you should aim at this third cutoff. On this one, the June cutoff, it won't be feasible for you. Okay, now I'm going to take you through and how you on the tips if you are intending to prepare a full proposal and go to the interview. Some tips, so how to get prepared. So first of all, to get prepared for this competitive process, and I remind you, for the last one, we will receive more than almost 1,200 applications from European and also associated member states, which are really a lot. So this is to give you an idea of how competitive the process is. And out of these 1,200, only 74 managed to go through. So for that, you need really to know very well the work program, the EIC, the European Innovation Council work program for 2022, and in particular the accelerator work program phase in funding. You have to be familiar with the most frequently asked questions on this action, and also you have to go through the guide for applicants as well. Also to prepare, I will invite you, and I introduced that already, make the full use of the EIC ecosystem, the European Innovation Council ecosystem. So ask for the EIC Coaching Support. If you pass the first stage of the short application, ask as well for the service and the business support advice of your national contact points. These are the links. And I invite you to do that as for now, if your intention is to submit an application with the accelerator. And also ask service business support advice to your Enterprise Europe network contact point in your region. This is the link. And this is, if you go to the pitching interview, just to let you know, I will enter more in details afterwards when I go to this phase. Your case will be assessed by 5 jury members. Remember, I say to you that these jury members are composed by experienced investors, venture capitalist investors, and entrepreneurs. And one of them, the briefer, will present your case to the other jury with factual information. The factual information is the information that you have presented with your application. The briefer as well will raise some potential concerns, meaning some shortcomings of your application, which were identified by the external experts and also by himself or herself. And also will raise any comment and questions by the experts, and also can ask, because during interviews, the interviews are also assisted by the European Innovation Council Fund, which is composed, as Elitza was mentioned to you, with representative of the European Investment Bank and also they are representative of the European Innovation Council program managers. So this is the whole ecosystem and environment, and what you need is like an exam you need to get prepared for, and with whom you can get assisted from. So basically your national contact point and the enterprise Europe network local contact point. Now, as the background information as well, and is within the work program, you have to be really very familiar with the 3 hour criteria against which your application, the information you submit, will be evaluated against, which are excellence, as I was introducing before, impact, and also the level of risk and implementation and need for union support. So these 3 hour criteria are essential for you to know them very well. This in the slide, I'm not going to get into details in each of them, because you will see that during the application process, and also you will get you will be distributed this PowerPoint presentation, so you can go through them. The excellent criterion is subdivided in 1, 2, 3, 4 sub-criteria, and you have to really reply very concisely, straightforward, thoroughly to each of the questions. And with that, you will make sure that the external expert will understand your case, and of course, an external, an observer could evaluate how excellent your case, your project is. So this is for the excellence. In here, we're trying to evaluate how breakthrough your discovery is, and how the market is mature, whether the timing is the right moment for you in terms of market, societal change, and scientific discovery. Also about the technological feasibility of your project, how the innovation, if the innovation is based on technology or technologies that have been already adequately assessed in a laboratory. So we are talking in here by this action, the accelerator action, by really high level TRL. So, and this will be assessed. And also one important part as well is that you are very advanced in terms of intellectual property. So if your company have the necessary intellectual property rights and freedom to operate, to implement the idea, to bring the idea into the market. So this is for the excellence. The second criteria you have to be very familiar with, and you have to reply to your questions when you apply in your application, is the impact. So how impactful your project will be in terms of, and there's 5 sub-criteria, in terms of a scale-up potential, so into the markets, and if it's realistic, you have to prove it. Also, how in terms of broad impact in societal, economical, environmental, and climate impact. And this is practically for the challenges. This is very important for the European Innovation Council Accelerator challenges. Also, how impactful is going to be fit into the market in the competitors analysis, and also the commercialization strategy that you have, and the key partners. So how you identify your key partners involved in your project, and also in terms of commercialization. So this, it has to be very clear in your application to be successful. The third criterion, it is the criteria of level of risk, implementation, and need of support of the union. So when the risk is going to be measured through 3, let's say 4 sub-criteria, in terms of a team, how capable the team that you propose to implement this action it is, the capabilities it has, the expertise, the motivation, Also, if it's a balance, a team balance in terms of involvement of women and men, if it is an inclusive team. Also, it will be evaluated your proposal in the second secretarial milestones. So, how clear and well defined is your work plan and packages, and how logically they are put into the timing, and how realistic the resources that you're going to use are they, in terms of human resources, technological resources, but also funding resources. Also, it will be evaluated against the risk level of investment. So, as we were saying, Elisa was introducing that at the very beginning. The accelerator is a scheme which is not only looking at scientific discoveries, but it is evaluating the risk, how risky it is for one single private investor to provide funding for. So if you go for the combination of grant and equity component, that will be really very much evaluated. And also, you have to really be aware of the risks and risk mitigation. So sorry for this long introduction, but I wanted just to make you really familiar with our criteria, because without all this essential, let's say, bibliography and information, you cannot really submit an application if you are not fully aware of all of this. Okay, this I'm going to skip it because I'm going to introduce later on at the end. And let me just go to the different, let's say, the 3 steps of an application. I mentioned to you earlier that you have to pass through first in a first step, which is short proposal, what we call short application. And it's basically, it is a pitching. It's a very short pitching that it practically says you have to submit your idea in a very short pitching. In this slide, I introduce what are the updates that we did against the 2021 on the 3 criteria. Remember that we were describing all of them. So excellence, impact, and level of risk. And here in yellowish, I underlined what are the new challenge, the new, let's say, novelties that we have introduced. So in 2022, we really pay in excellence. We really pay attention on innovative projects that really intend to transform markets, that it have an impact that it has really a clear, convincing mission, vision, and they're really mature in relation to the target markets, and also that the business model and the growth forecast are really mature, and they show that they're going to have a real impact. And also for the level of risk, we are paying much attention as well in this balance representation of women and men, and also because we would like to also to introduce more inclusiveness of women participation and women in science and women in as entrepreneurs. So this is an update for the short proposal. So once you submit your short proposal, it will be evaluated by 4 experts. So just to let you know that for the submission of your short proposal, it is continuously open. So you can submit your short proposal whenever you want to. So there's no deadlines. Your proposal, your project proposal are loaded into the evaluation platform as they arrive, and they are allocated to 4 experts. To pass this stage and go to the full application stage, you have to get the two goes are necessary from two external experts. And if you get the two goes, then you have the possibility to pass, and let me go to the second stage, which is the preparation of the full proposal, which I was mentioning before. For the preparation of the full proposal, just to let you know that you will have practically, if you get a go from the short proposal, you will have 12 months to submit your full proposal. It doesn't mean that you get, if you're not ready when you get the short proposal go, don't get stressed. Perhaps you need time to prepare your full application. Just be knowledgeable that you will have 12 months until the next to present the full proposal, and there will be different different cutoff dates. For instance, in here, just to give you an example, if last year you submit your short proposal on the 1st of May last year in 21, and you receive your short proposal go in 21, you can submit the full proposal until this year, May this year. And also I mentioned to you, you can have the help of a coach to develop your proposal. You have 3 days maximum, and it comes with the right when you get a go for the short proposal. And also you need to decide whether you're going to go for the Accelerator Open or Challenges. It is up to you. It doesn't mean that you choose one or the other, you're going to have more chances. It depends on your company and your choice. Okay, Elitza mentioned that you can apply for the two in a given cutoff. You have the choice of using the choice of the Accelerator Challenge with technologies for open and strategic autonomy, or the Accelerator Challenge Fit for 55, which are more focusing on Green Deal and reducing the CO2 emissions. I've also mentioned to you that one important thing, not only in case just you have to really be strategic and look into the future, and what are the doors that going through this, I would say, difficult and also competitive process of applying for the EIC Accelerator. But one of the rewards is if you don't get the funding, you can get the seal of excellence. So meaning that if you give us the consent in your application, your full application, I'm talking now, to submit and share all the data with the national authorities, meaning national member states and national contact points, then you will have privileged access to national funding. And this is already a privilege for you, which other companies, they don't have it. So only for that, it is worthwhile to apply for the accelerator. Okay, in this, I wouldn't stop longer on that because you will have it. This is the table that it gives you, it recapitulates the 3 types of funding and the application profile that it needed. Also the innovation activities, the level, also the whether it's mandatory or not mandatory to get grant or not, and also for the market activities, TRL level onwards. For the accelerator as well, you will be asked as well for budget questions and that you need to reply in terms of exploitation revenues and cost, and also whether and the exploitation cost that can be either be explained in the work packages, depending if they are related to development of a product, service, or a process. And other exploitation costs can be declared in the exploitation cost section, go to market. And all of this will be further asked and explained to the jury during the interview. So you have to really be aware of that when you prepare your full application. Okay, so then I will explain to you the process of in here in this slide. What I would like to underline is what is needed in red. It is underlined how your application will be assessed. It will be assessed in this step not by 4 experts, only by 3. But you need to get 3 goes are necessary to pass to the interview. If you don't get the 3 green lights from the external experts, unfortunately, you cannot go to the interview. Let me see if there is something I would like to underline in here. No, nothing else. Then let me pass to the full proposals. So again, I will invite you to be familiar, what I repeat, on the hour criteria, the 3-hour criteria. In here, when you prepare the full application, you will get the similar questions to the short application on the excellence, on the impact, and also on level of risk, implementation, and the need for the European Union support. So I won't get into details. In this table, you will have this is the situation in 2021. So forget about this. This is the table and the questions that you receive now from the current cutoff in 22. Okay. Okay, if you get this, this is in the case if you are in step 2, full application, and you receive a no-go at the remote evaluation on the full application, you can ask to provide the following. So you can ask to provide additional submission and also additional information on how and why your application was not selected. Okay, this I will skip it, and I go to the 3rd phase. Let's imagine that you have been successful to the short application and you pass to the full application. And let's imagine that you have been successful in getting the 3 experts go, and you are invited to the interviews. That is your goal. So if you're invited to the interviews, to pitch in front of a jury, so this is how it looks like, the structure of an interview. The interview will last 95 minutes, and it's very well organized, and it goes already. We are very experienced in running that, even on remote, very, very quickly. So there will be the company, your company, if selected, will be invited to do a preliminary checks, just to check your who are the member of the team and the identity cards and so on. And then we go through the real pitching. So there will be the maximum duration is 80 minutes for everybody, for all the companies. The company will, your company, if selected, will have 10 minutes to prepare a briefing. So you will present an impartial briefing based on your pitch deck that you cannot change. So you will submit your pitch deck, and that you will be defending in front of the jury. And the jury members are composed by 5 external experts, as I mentioned to you. And I repeat, they are experienced investor and venture capitalist and entrepreneur. And there are also 2 representatives, one from the EIC Fund Committee and another one from the program managers, that will provide also feedback and will ask questions to you. So once the company has made the pitching in 10 minutes pitching without no interruption, we start with 35 minutes question and answer. In here, you will get questions from the 5 jury members plus the EIC FAM representative and program managers. Then you, the company, you will leave the floor, the room, and then the jury will take a final decision on your case and will have a deliberation with all jury members on your case, whether it will be a go or no go. If you get a go, of course, you will get funding, and if you get a no go, okay, this is I mentioned to you, this is the interview time for this year. And the next one you are aiming at will be a cutoff of 5th of October with interviews in November, December. Okay, this is, it repeats a little bit what I've saying before about the interview process. You will get as a literature, so don't worry, because I want to give room for question and answer, and I will stop here on the possible outcomes of an interview. So the possible outcomes of an interview will be a go. If you get a go, we will proceed to prepare the funding contract, so for the grant and equity component. If you receive a no-go, could be with direct invitation to interviews, so it means that you don't have to go through this selection process again. Go back to square one and go to short application, full application. So basically, what you will be invited is to the next interview. The jury members decided that your application, your project is really crucial, very important, but it has minor improvements to make. And you will have time until the next 12 months to lift up, to get better your, to improve your application. Or you will get a no-go. If you get a no-go, you will receive the Seal of Excellence, which I mentioned to you. It opens you doors national, in your national scene, at national level, regional level, but also for other European Commission funding, as the European Innovation Technology and what we call fast track as well. And this is it. I will okay, this is what I mentioned to you. Direct invitation to interview. Jury members will only assess points that needs to be improved. And we won't reassess the whole proposal. And also, yeah, this is the resubmission limits. Of course, there is resubmission limits. If you are rejected twice, you will not be allowed to submit another proposal for the next 12 months, starting from the date of submission of your revised full proposal. So this you have to bear in mind. And this is it. I won't get more into details. So in here, I will keep that slide on the possible outcomes of the interview in the step 4. So with go, no go, and no go with Seal of Excellence. So this is it. Thank you so much. I know that it was really very dense and very long presentation, but I think it was worthwhile to take the time to explain to you carefully. Thanks a lot. So, and I stop sharing.
Thank you very much, Piedad. Yes, I think before we proceed, let's just go for some of the questions that have appeared in the chat. So the first question, I believe it's for you, Elitza. It states, for the investment component, what is the typical share of ownership based on past project experiences, and who is formally the co-owner, where the question is directed to if the co-owner is the European Commission?
Yes, the co-owner is the European Commission. I don't have examples about that. We have different cases. This is something relatively new. It is just starting. There is a long period of negotiations. So I cannot, I'm sorry, tell you what is the typical. We are aiming at less than 25%.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question, what does the patient capital principle mean in practical terms? Could you briefly explain what is meant here?
It was meant that the Commission doesn't hurry to leave the company. They will stay there as long as it is necessary. And then the idea is the European Commission to go so that the funds can be reused again for other applicants.
Okay, thank you. Rafael, in case you have any additional questions in regard to her replies, just please put them in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to the next question, which is, are UK companies eligible to apply for equity investment? Does having European-based nationals as founders make any difference?
Sorry, I missed the question.
Yeah, so the question is, if UK companies are eligible to apply for
No.
equity investment?
Yeah, they're not eligible for equity, no.
Okay, and they're not eligible either, despite the fact that it could be a European-based national founders?
The eligibility criteria says that the company has to be based and registered in Europe without the UK. Well, if they're registered in the UK, they're eligible for grant only. But if the company is based in continental Europe, then they could, even if it is a UK company and the branch is based here in Europe, they are eligible. It's a European beneficiary.
Okay, thank you very much. So,
but if it is only based in the UK, then it's grant only. And even for the moment, this is not going very well. So we have a few projects blocked of UK companies.
Okay. So next question, how is the co-owner expected to be involved in the management of the company? For example, in terms of board meetings and so on.
I am not sure about that. They do participate in the board meetings, but I'm sorry, I don't know. They are involved.
Okay.
How much? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Next question, is the short application process possible also in case of the only investment option, as explained before?
Okay, that, yes.
Yeah. So there is a possibility to do to go only for the investment component, as we explained afterwards in the presentation. But of course, it's up to the company to explain what are your needs. If your needs is only investment component, yeah, you can go only for equity only.
And it is the same process, yeah.
It's the same process, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to read this question, but I'm not sure that you would actually be able to give a reply. So the question is, how many evaluators come from virtual capitals that have already received various EU grants? What would be the EIC approach if a company was, for example, not interested in working with some or several virtual capital venture capitals, but then it has to be evaluated by representatives of that venture capital?
It's not very clear. The question is because it sounds like a conflict of interest. Not very clear what they mean. Perhaps the person can ask directly if they can access or clarify the.
I can see that there are a couple of these questions. So maybe we can just clarify on a high level directly that conflicts of interest are definitely not allowed in European funding programs, not only the EIC, but in general. I've been working in this field for many years, and I know that there are very, very strict conditions for these aspects. So definitely there are not any types of personal conflicts of interest allowed, obviously. Okay. Yes, it is being recorded. I'm just going down. Just going down. We will be sharing the presentations afterwards. Yes. Absolutely. So a question here. How many times can you resubmit your application without being excluded?
Yeah, I've mentioned that in my presentation. So you will have the possibility of, it depends, but twice there is a freezing period of time of a year.
Okay, so if any of you continue to have any additional questions, or you need to have the responses that have been provided so far expanded further, please just let me know here in the chat. Rafael, thanks for confirming that it's clear for you. So I will now pass on the word to Ignacio Hernandez. So Ignacio, you can start sharing your screen.
Okay, hello, good morning. Let's see if I can share my screen. Hope you see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Then, good morning. My name is Ignacio Hernández, and I work at Instituto Tecnológico de Aragón in Spain. We are partners of the Entrance project, and we are also partners of another important European initiative, the Enterprise Europe Network. And today I'm going to show you how both initiatives can work together and exploit synergies to the benefit of our clients, the companies. Okay, let's see. First of all, let's remember what is the Entrance project about, as Janet has shown at the beginning of the webinar. Funded by Horizon 2020, the main goal of the project is to reduce European CO2 emissions and pollutants caused by the transport and mobility sector. How do we intend to do that? By fostering the market, access, and upscaling of innovative, sustainable transport and mobility solutions. With that goal in mind, Entrance project will, on the one hand, develop an EU online matchmaking platform where we will find innovative technologies, products, and services. We will find also buyers and investors. And on the other hand, Entrance will provide additional support services to help mobilize financial resources for the implementation of such innovative solutions. As we can see, the Entrance project focuses on three main aspects. First one, the supply. We are looking for organizations that have developed transport and mobility solutions, which can be a technology, a product, or a service. Talking about close to the market, not asking for low-tier errors, but about solutions that could be implemented in a short period of time. The second one is the demand. This is really the key aspect. If there is demand, supply will adapt to meet that demand. So we try to find potential buyers. They can be public or private actors who have plans and purchase of innovative solutions or have a replacement plan and are willing to use more sustainable solutions. And finally, the financial aspect. This is usually not a trivial aspect, and the Entrance project aims to provide support services related to public and private funding opportunities. Okay. These are the services that can be provided by Entrance. First of all, our newsletter, our EU matchmaking platform, our support services, our dissemination events like this one today, and brokerage events, and synergies with other support networks, EU-funded projects, and initiatives. Here you have the link to the entrance platform, which I recommend you to visit and to subscribe to our newsletter to be informed about the activities we are carrying out. And the link to a short video where you can have an overview of how to register at the entrance platform and see some of its features. Janet, we talk about this again at the end of the webinar.
Exactly.
Let's explore now the synergies between the entrance project and the Enterprise Europe network. Sometimes you might hear me say EEN for short, but generally the EU Commission prefers the long name. So the Enterprise Europe network is the world's largest support network for SMEs with international ambitions. You can say only SMEs? Well, not only, but our main focus is always the benefit of SMEs. As long as an SME could potentially benefit from the activities we can develop with universities, R&D centers, big companies, etc., we are allowed to work with these other actors. The network is funded by the Single Market Program, and we have a contract until mid-2025. We are covering over 60 countries, not only the EU, but also other countries. Currently, Russia and Belarus are out of the network for obvious reasons due to the war in Ukraine. We are over 600 organizations in the network with over 3,000 experts in total FTE. Okay. Let's see our general services as Enterprise Europe network. As you can see, we cover both the single market, providing information about EU legislations, standards, procedures, etc., and the access to third country markets. We provide advice on support services in public procurement, finance, funding, IPR. We are also providing support services for the improvement of our clients in a range of aspects such as energy and resource efficiency, sustainability, digitalization, innovation management, all of them focusing in improving the resilience of our clients in this fast-changing world. Additionally, the Enterprise Europe network has sector groups, which are groups that include network members who have clients especially interested in specific topics. Currently, the network has 15 sector groups, and one of them is the sector group Mobility, Transport, Automotive. Any request, question, or need can be managed through the members of these sector groups. How do these two initiatives, Entrance Project and Enterprise Europe network, combine into this topic? We, as network members, have been collaborating with the EU Commission in providing support services to the companies under the SME instrument and the EIC Accelerator pilot, which were the seeds of the current EIC Accelerator. These support services included advice on the preparation and submission of project proposals, assessment on the project proposals, TRL level, cost eligibility, project proposal review, etc. Also, the selection of the coach or coaches who provided coaching services to the beneficiaries of the SME instrument and EIC Accelerator pilot project. The EU Commission provided a specialist coaching services free of charge to all the companies awarded with the EU funding. It's a bit different for the service provided right now. We, as Enterprise Europe network, carried out a needs analysis of each project, provided support services to interview potential coaches according to these identified needs, and manage the selection process of the coach or coaches for each project, as well as the closing of the coaching services. Right now, this service is not provided anymore by us, since the coaching service has been integrated with the new EIC Accelerator platform. But all this activity has given us a lot of experience to provide support services to the companies. This is our experience with the previous projects before the evolution into the current EIC. Then what else can we do for a company right now? In addition to the support services during the preparation and submission of the project proposal, we can collaborate providing other complementary services, such as information on EU legislation, market information in foreign countries, search of business partners for those companies that already have a solution and are looking for distributors, for example, search of technological partners for those companies that need it for the final development of their product or service, or search of partners for those companies that have a project idea and still have some gaps in their project proposals. Information on funding programs, etc. We also collaborate with the national contact points. As Piedad has said, in some countries, we are also providing support services to access additional national funding to projects that have not received the EU funding but have received the Seal of Excellence. I have read one comment related in the chat related to the Seal of Excellence. It does not mean that the project was not good enough. The Seal of Excellence is not provided to all projects reaching the pitch. Even reaching the pitch is very challenging. So the seal means that the project was good enough and is among the best of the best, but it was not awarded with the funding, maybe by a shortage of available funds, since there is a limit in the CAL funds. So the Seal of Excellence allows you to access to other additional potential fundings in the national countries. Okay, since the network coverage is so extensive, we can forward your specific request to the network member closest to you, who will provide these services with the advantage of language and geographic proximity. Here you have the Enterprise Your Network website. Here you will find a brief information about all the services we have talked about, and what is more important, the contact details of the network member closest to you. You can contact directly with us, and we can signpost you to the network member in your country, or you can contact them directly. And that's all. I would say, please remember, Entrance and the Enterprise Your Network will work closely together to provide support services to the companies and foster the commercialization of their solutions. Just get in contact and we will try to do our best. You have the Entrance platform. You can subscribe to the Entrance newsletter. And should you have any question, contact us. We will signpost you to the most adequate actor who can provide you any potential support service. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for that presentation, Ignacio. So I just realized now that I actually jumped earlier a presentation in or question in regard to the Seal of Excellence. So maybe just for Litsa or Piedad, it's mentioned the EIC label is awarded to those companies that don't make it to the final round, correct? Elitsa or Piedad? Piedad, yeah.
Yes, say again, is this related to the Seal of Excellence again?
Yeah, if that Seal of Excellence is awarded to projects that do not reach the final round.
Yes, so as I'm not sure about the question, because first of all, when you apply, you have to tick whether the company agrees to be part of the Seal of Excellence. So then the experts can grant, because the experts also have the right to say this company is not, it shouldn't be awarded the Seal of Excellence. But once you get it, you get to the interview, This gives you already, is like a certificate that allows you to go to that national schemes, but not only, other European projects as well recognize the seal of excellence as one entry point. So it gives you a privilege status. I'm not sure whether the question was that one, to reassure on that.
Yes, I believe so. And there's another question in relation to this, where it says, are there already experiences that the Seal of Excellence has helped in accessing national funding instruments? I guess that is very different country to country, program by program. But if you have previous experience of this actually being successful, I believe the question is about.
Yes, it is, because, for instance, in Spain, most of the companies, if I understand correctly, you're based in Spain, and most of the companies register there. The regions, they recognize the seal of excellence, and they have really, if they provide funding for companies, they request these companies to have the seal of excellence as one of the, let's say, entry points for to have access to this national and regional funding. But perhaps, I don't know, if somebody else.
Yes, I can confirm that in
that,
Spain, specifically in Spain, there is a national call that requests only that only can access only those companies that have been awarded with the Seal of Excellence. Without it, you cannot get that national funding.
But I don't know how many countries, member states, they do this similar scheme, and I don't think it's similarly somewhere else.
That depends on the funding of each country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in case there are any further questions, again, please just put them in the chat that you have here, or if you need any further clarifications. And just to round up the webinar today, I think it's my turn just to share my screen for a second. Okay, so I just want to show you that you have the option of receiving more information specifically about everything that takes place within the online platform, within the entrance project. So by signing up to this online platform, you would automatically have access to information on all of the European and national funding programs that can be applied to the transport and mobility sector. And also you have the possibility of finding information on best practices on how solutions within the sector have actually been applied in other circumstances and other scenarios around Europe. And of course, you will also have direct access to potential buyers and also to European tenders, national tender information. So you have here the link, as mentioned earlier. We will be sharing these PowerPoint presentations after this webinar. You will receive them by email. So you have here the link where you can automatically go in and sign up for the entrance platform. And in case you have any questions also about how this platform works, please don't hesitate also to consult the YouTube video that we have as a short training on the functionalities of the platform. And I also want to mention to you that we already have an upcoming training event on the 20th of June. In this occasion, we will be talking about how to calculate GHG reduction from sustainable transport innovation. So we have 5 different experts who will be sharing their information and their information about their tools and their methods for calculating the GHG emissions within the transport sector. So you also have here the link for the opportunities of signing up to this upcoming event. So I will just very briefly check here. Where can detailed information be found on the already funded projects? So you already answered that, Elitsa. Thank you very much. And also, Sylvia, thank you very much for sharing here directly in the chat the link to sign up to the entrance platform. So all there's left from our side is really to thank you all